Imagine a world where the stars are no longer just dreams, but destinations. A world where humanity pushes beyond the confines of Earth, reaching for the moon, Mars, and even further. This is the promise of the private space industry, a realm where innovation, ambition, and competition collide to reshape what's possible. For years, two companies stood at the forefront of this cosmic race, each backed by unimaginable wealth, each driven by a vision to redefine humanity's place in the universe. On paper, they seemed like equals, two titans locked in a battle for the stars. But as the years passed, the truth became undeniable. One soared to heights no one thought possible, while the other stumbled, mired in delays, setbacks, and unfulfilled promises. This is the story of how one company's relentless drive exposed the other's greatest failure. A failure so stark, so shocking, it's left the space industry reeling. Let's set the stage. Picture the early 2000s, a time when space exploration was still largely the domain of governments. NASA, Russia's Roscosmos, and a handful of others dominated the skies, launching rockets at costs that made frequent missions a pipe dream. Then came the private sector, fueled by billionaires with audacious goals. Two companies emerged as the frontrunners, each founded around the same time, each with the resources to challenge the status quo. One aimed to make space accessible, reusable, and affordable, with sights set on colonizing Mars. The other dreamed of building an industrial future in space, preserving Earth by moving heavy industry off-world. Both had the money, the talent, and the vision to make it happen. Or so it seemed. Fast forward to 2025, and the gap between these two is nothing short of staggering. One company has launched over 400 missions in the past 5 years alone, sending astronauts to the International Space Station, deploying thousands of satellites, and testing a rocket system designed to carry humans to Mars. The other? It's only just managed to send its first orbital rocket into space, a milestone delayed by half a decade. While one company's rockets are landing back on Earth with pinpoint precision, the others are still struggling to prove they can compete. The contrast is brutal, and it's time to dive into the details of how this happened, why it matters, and what it means for the future of space exploration. Let's start with the numbers, because they tell a story words alone can't capture. In 2022, the leading company launched 61 missions, all successful. In 2023, that number jumped to 96, a record-breaking pace that outstripped every space agency and private competitor combined. By 2024, they pushed the boundaries even further, completing 138 launches in a single year, more than any organization in history. And in the first 4 months of the 2025, they've already racked up 45 missions, putting them on track to shatter their own records once again. These aren't just numbers. They're a testament to a machine-like efficiency, a relentless pursuit of progress that's redefined what's possible in space. Now compare that to the other company. For 3 years, 2022, 2023, and most of 2024, they didn't launch a single orbital mission. Zero, nada. Their only activity was a handful of suborbital flights, short hops that barely grazed the edge of space. In late 2022, an uncrewed suborbital launch failed spectacularly, grounding their operations for over a year. It wasn't until late 2023 that they resumed these limited flights, and even then, they were sporadic, unremarkable, and far from the cutting edge. Their first orbital success didn't come until January 2025, when they finally launched a long-delayed rocket, a project promised to fly 5 years earlier. While one company was rewriting the rules of spaceflight, the other was stuck in neutral, unable to keep up. What makes this gap so shocking is the nature of the missions themselves. The leading company isn't just launching rockets, they're running a full spectrum of operations. They're deploying constellations of satellites to provide global internet access, delivering cargo to the International Space Station, and ferrying astronauts on multi-day missions. They've mastered complex orbital maneuvers, autonomous docking, and high-speed re-entries, all while pushing the boundaries of reusability. Their workhorse rocket, a medium-lift vehicle powered by 9 engines, generates over 7,600 kilonewtons of thrust, enough to carry massive payloads into orbit and return for a precise landing. Their Crew capsule, designed for orbital missions, has carried astronauts to the ISS since 2020, handling everything from long-duration stays to commercial spacewalks. The other company, by contrast, has been focused on suborbital tourism. Their flagship vehicle, a small rocket with a single engine, produces just 490 kilonewtons of thrust, barely enough to lift a capsule past the Kármán line, the boundary of space. The entire mission lasts 11 minutes, with 3 minutes of weightlessness before parachuting back to Earth. There's no orbit, no docking, no extended exposure to space, just a quick up and down ride. It's a thrill, sure, but it's not exploration. It's not progress. It's a carnival ride for the ultra-wealthy, priced at $200,000 a seat, offering little more than bragging rights and a fleeting view of the stars. To understand the scale of this failure, let's talk about reusability, because both companies claim it as a core innovation. The leading company has turned reusability into a science. Their workhorse rocket's first stage lands back on Earth, sometimes on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean, sometimes at a landing zone near the launch site. As of April 2025, they've recovered boosters 416 times, with some flying 27 missions each. These aren't gentle suborbital hops, these are full orbital flights, enduring the heat of re-entry at hypersonic speeds, yet still landing with surgical precision. This reusability has slashed launch costs, making space accessible to startups, universities, and nations that could never afford it before. The other company's reusability, while technically impressive, is far less ambitious. Their suborbital rocket is fully reusable, with both the booster and capsule landing back at the launch site. But here's the catch. Suborbital flights are inherently easier to recover. They don't reach orbital speeds, don't face the same thermal stresses, and don't require complex ocean recoveries. Refurbishing a suborbital rocket is like tuning up a car after a short drive. Refurbishing an orbital rocket is like rebuilding a jet engine after a transatlantic flight. The leading company's reusability is a game changer, driving down costs and enabling a launch cadence no one else can match. The others? It's a footnote, a limited achievement that pales in comparison. Now let's talk about ambition. The leading company isn't content with Earth orbit. They're building a massive rocket system, 400 feet tall, powered by 33 engines, capable of carrying 150 tons to orbit. This isn't just a rocket. It's a spacecraft designed to land on the Moon, ferry colonists to Mars, and enable interplanetary travel. It's already undergone multiple test flights, with each failure providing data to refine the design. They're not afraid to fail, because failure is part of innovation. They launch, they break, they learn, they launch again. This iterative approach has led to breakthroughs that have left competitors in the dust. The other company's ambitions are equally grand on paper. A lunar lander, a space station, a spacecraft to shuttle cargo between orbits. But these projects are mired in delays and uncertainty. Their lunar lander, contracted by NASA, isn't slated to fly until 2029 at the earliest. Their space station, once touted as a revolutionary orbital business park, lost a key partner in 2023, leaving its future in doubt. Their orbital rocket, the one that finally launched in 2025, was supposed to debut in 2020. 5 years of delays, countless setbacks, and a single successful flight don't exactly scream industry leader. While one company is testing the future, the other is struggling to deliver on promises made a decade ago. The emotional weight of this contrast hits hard when you consider the stakes. Space exploration isn't just about rockets and payloads, it's about humanity's survival, our ability to become a multi-planetary species. The leading company's founder has spoken passionately about this, framing space as a hedge against extinction-level events, an asteroid, a supervolcano, or worse. Every launch, every test, every recovered booster brings that vision closer to reality. Their satellites are connecting remote communities to the internet. Their cargo missions are sustaining the ISS, and their crewed flights are proving humans can live and work in space. This isn't just business, it's a mission to save the species. The other company's vision is no less inspiring. Millions living and working in space, Earth preserved by moving industry off-world. But inspiration alone doesn't cut it. Their suborbital flights, while headline-grabbing, contribute little to this goal. Sending celebrities on 11-minute joyrides doesn't advance human spaceflight. It generates buzz, not progress. Their orbital debut in 2025 was a step forward, but it's a step that should have happened years ago. The gap between their rhetoric and their results is a failure of execution, a betrayal of the promise they made to the world. Let's zoom in on that orbital debut, because it's the crux of this story. In January 2025, the trailing company launched its new rocket, a 320-foot behemoth designed to compete with the leader's workhorse. It was a historic moment, the culmination of years of development, countless delays, and intense scrutiny. The rocket carried a payload for the U.S. Department of Defense, a 6-hour test flight meant to prove its ability to deploy satellites into orbit. The launch was a success, reaching orbit and deploying its payload as planned. But there was a catch. The reusable first stage, a key selling point, failed to land on its seafaring barge. The booster was lost, a costly setback that underscored the challenges of catching up. Compare that to the leading company's track record. Their workhorse rocket has been flying since 2010, with over 480 successful launches by May 2025. Its first stage lands routinely, with a success rate above 95%. They've turned Richard rocket recovery into a spectacle, streaming landings to millions who watch boosters touch down like something out of science fiction. Their failures, when they happen, are public and transparent, providing data to improve the next attempt. The trailing company's single orbital launch, while a milestone, is a drop in the bucket compared to this relentless pace. One success doesn't close a gap that's been widening for years. The financial side of this story is just as telling. The leading company has built a business model that's both innovative and sustainable. Their launch costs are among the lowest in the industry. $70 million for a workhorse rocket that can carry 22 tons to low Earth orbit. They've secured billions in government contracts, from NASA to the Pentagon, while also serving commercial clients and their own satellite network. That network, a constellation of thousands of satellites, generates revenue that funds further innovation, creating a virtuous cycle of growth. They've raised private capital strategically, avoiding the volatility of public markets, and their valuation reflects their dominance, estimated at $200 billion in 2024. The trailing company, by contrast, has relied heavily on its founder's personal fortune. Estimates suggest $14.6 billion has been poured into the company, with little to show for it until 2025. Their suborbital flights generate revenue, $200,000 per seat, but the volume is low and the costs are high. Their orbital rocket, priced at $110 million per launch, is competitive but unproven. With only one flight under its belt, it's a risky bet for customers who can choose a rival with hundreds of successful missions. The trailing company's NASA contracts, while significant, are smaller and later than their competitors, and their lack of a revenue-generating satellite network leaves them dependent on external funding. The cultural differences between these companies are stark. The leading company is known for its fast-paced, Silicon Valley-style approach. Engineers work grueling hours, driven by a mission to change the world. Failure is embraced as a learning opportunity, with prototypes tested in real-world conditions rather than endless simulations. This fail fast, learn fast ethos has led to breakthroughs like reusable rockets and autonomous landings. But it's not without cost. Burnout is common, and the pressure is relentless. Still, the results speak for themselves. A company that moves at breakneck speed, outpacing governments and competitors alike. The trailing company takes a different tack, prioritizing caution over speed. Their motto, step by step, ferociously, reflects a methodical approach, with a focus on getting it right the first time. This has led to fewer spectacular failures, but also slower progress. Employees enjoy more stability, but some have expressed frustration at the lack of urgency. The company's secrecy, rarely sharing details of setbacks or progress, contrasts with their rivals' transparency, which has built a cult-like following among fans. While one company invites the world to watch its journey, the other keeps its cards close, leaving observers to speculate about its struggles. The emotional impact of this story lies in the missed opportunities. Imagine what could have been if both companies had pushed each other to greater heights, like Apple and Samsung, or Nike and Adidas. A true rivalry would have accelerated innovation, lowered costs, and expanded access to space. Instead, the trailing company's delays have left the industry lopsided, overly reliant on a single player. This isn't just a business failure, it's a setback for humanity's dreams of exploring the cosmos. Every year of delay is a year we're not building lunar bases, not colonizing Mars, not securing our future among the stars. But let's not write off the trailing company just yet. Their orbital debut, despite its flaws, is a sign of life. Their rocket, with double the power payload capacity of their rival's workhorse, has the potential to shake up the market if they can prove its reliability. Their lunar lander, space station, and cargo spacecraft, while delayed, could still play a role in NASA's Artemis program and beyond. The question is whether they can overcome their history of slow execution and build a cadence to rival their competitor. The space industry needs competition, not monopolies, and a resurgent trailing company could push the leader to innovate even faster. For now, though, the story is one of dominance and disappointment. The leading company has exposed the trailing company's biggest failure. Not just a single misstep, but a pattern of delays, missed deadlines, and unfulfilled potential. Their suborbital focus, while profitable, has distracted from the harder work of orbital flight. Their cautious approach, while prudent, has left them years behind, and their reliance on a single founder's wealth, while enabling, has shielded them from the urgency of market pressures. This isn't just a corporate rivalry, it's a lesson in execution, ambition, and the cost of falling behind. As we look to the future, the stakes couldn't be higher. The leading company's next-generation rocket, despite recent setbacks, is poised to redefine space travel. Its test flights, even when they end in explosions, are steps toward a future where humans live on other planets. The trailing company, with its newfound orbital capability, has a chance to reclaim its place in the race, but only if it can move faster, fail smarter, and deliver on its promises. The audience watching this drama unfold, scientists, dreamers, and everyday people, deserves a competition that pushes humanity forward, not a one-sided route. So what's the takeaway? It's not about one company being better than the other in some abstract sense. It's about results. It's about showing up, launching rockets, landing boosters, and making space a reality for more than just the ultra-rich. The leading company has done that, time and time again, while the trailing company has faltered. This video isn't just a story of triumph and failure, it's a wake-up call. The stars are waiting, but only those who dare to fail, learn, and launch again will reach them. Thanks for watching, and let's keep our eyes on the skies.